If you look at tonight's games, you'll realize this is very possibly the last game of the Giannis era. And it's weird where we've gone to in the NBA. Right? It's weird where we've gone to in the NBA, where in the NBA it's very very normal to go like, okay, I know you have 2 years left in your contract, but you should get out. You should get out of that place. Have we ever thought that? I've seen this on. I saw, I think Kendrick Perkins. I've seen others discuss it, where this is actually quite normal in the NBA to go like, yeah, he should leave. Isn't that weird? I can't think of another place, another sport where it's like that, where if the team doesn't look like you can win a championship, you're just supposed to go to management and go like, hey, yeah, I'm ready to go. And we can go back and trace and go like, hey, how do we get here? But I just think the whole thing is bizarre. But that is the reality of the state of the NBA, where we're like, that's just the normal. If he doesn't, and this goes to Damian Lillard, who previously, when he was in Portland, he didn't ask out of Portland. And because he didn't ask out of Portland, he was seen as some sort of hero when that's kind of what you're supposed to do. I mean, can you imagine if in any other workplace that was the case? Whereas if you were just somebody who, or you're at a job who, no matter what you did, you probably weren't going to be at the best company for that. Where you're like, hey, I just can't work here anymore. Why? Well, we're just not the very best. So if we're not the very best, I can't do it. Like if you're on the set of a movie and the movie's not going to win an Academy Award, won't be nominated for an Academy Award, you're like, yeah, I don't know. Why? Well, I'm not going to win an Academy Award. Does that strike anybody else as odd? But that's exactly where we are as NBA fans. If you can't win a championship with that team, you're supposed to go to your management and go like, hey, I need to go to a different team where we can win a championship. And the one thing that's interesting about this, and I've learned this, obviously, you learn it in therapy, where if you don't change behaviors in or fix some of the issues within your current relationship, even if that relationship is going to come to an end, that's those same things are going to pop up in your next relationship. It's the same thing as basketball players. And that's why so many of these guys have gone team to team to team searching for a team that will win a championship. You're like, why do you win a championship? Like, yeah, it's the same thing that you did in the other place. That doesn't allow you to win a championship there. It didn't allow you to win a championship here. Buyer, you're from Wisconsin, but you're also an avid NBA fan, follower as well. If this is, in fact, the last of Giannis in Milwaukee, how would you characterize it?
It's a really difficult question because of where we sit right now. But ultimately, you would say an absolute, no doubt about it, no-brainer, rousing success for the simple fact of bringing home a championship, something that I never thought would happen when I was alive for the Milwaukee Bucks, of winning an NBA title. And he was the reason they won the NBA title, and you can never take that away from him. And the day that they drafted him, if you were to say, this is the plan, this is how it lays out, I think every single Bucks fan would take that route. So no doubt the tenure arousing success. But sitting here today, knowing what's likely going to happen tonight and then what could happen in the future, it's a different feeling because of now rent is due. And that's the toughest part about it.
Yeah. I think I don't know how you feel about it, but if we're going to look honestly at the Bucks and Giannis and what he's supposed to do, the Bucks have done right by Giannis. They've tried everything.
Too much so, yeah.
Too much so, right. Like there's a case to be made for other superstars when they left their spot because hey, they didn't do enough. The Bucks seem to move on from a coach because Giannis was kind of done there. Only to hire somebody he was comfortable with, but most people felt wasn't good enough. Then they went and got Doc Rivers. Meanwhile, they went out and got Damian Lillard, and they got Damian Lillard because just kind of an effort to, hey, we got to give him a perimeter threat, give him a second superstar. That's how you compete in the world today is you go get him a second superstar. So it's not like they didn't. They got a brand new arena. They've gone through new coaches. They've tried to get new personnel. They've tried to get him better, tried to get surrounding cast better, and they were only able to knock it out of the park one time. And even that time they knocked it out of the park, like they were dead to rights beaten by the Nets in the first round, right? Was that the first
second round?
Second round?
Semifinals, yeah.
Yeah. And then Kyrie got hurt, and Kevin Durant stepped on the line on a three-point shot in regulation of Game 7. If those two things don't happen, they might not win a championship, but they did, and then they tried to win another one by going to getting Damian Lillard. So I don't fault the Bucks in this case in any way.
Yeah, and I in some point I do in the fact of this is, and when you look at the recent NBA champions that we've had going back to 2019, which I think that's an important time because that's the end of the Warriors' reign. Raptors win a title, the Bucks win it 2 years later. Denver wins a title 2 years later. You have these teams that you wouldn't think would be title contenders. You would think Warriors, Lakers, those teams winning titles, and they did during that span, but you had these other teams moving in as well. The problem, Doug, that I had with it was the Bucks tried to operate like some of those top teams did or do. Just go add another player. Go sign this veteran. When this player gets released midseason, go and sign him. You'd be shocked at some of the names that came through Milwaukee of guys at the end of their career. Pau Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Jay Crowder, all of these names that, hey, let's go sign these guys. It's such a top level, only certain teams make those sort of moves. In their window, Doug, you're right. Their window, the next year they lost to Boston in a 7-game series in 2022, and Boston ends up going to the NBA Finals. But that was likely, when you look at their run, that was likely the end of the window. Like they had a chance that year, and there was a Grant Williams Game 7, but that was it. And I felt like they made all these moves that just didn't get them to where they needed to be. Sure, the Drew Holiday trade put them over the top, but otherwise everything was kind of done organically in a way. You make a trade for Chris Middleton, who wasn't the key piece in that deal. You took Giannis midway through the first round and developed him. They didn't do things normally or like top NBA teams did, and then all of a sudden they just started operating like one. And I think that was their downfall.
They became the cliche, right?
Yeah.
They became the cliche. Hey, we got to get a new coach. Hey, we got to get another superstar player. Like, yeah, that's not how we built it to begin with.
100%.
Yeah.
And now they're in a spot where they don't own their own first-round pick, whether they don't have the pick or it's a pick swap, until 2031. It's the first time that they have their hands on their own first-round pick. And so even a trade of Giannis right now, Doug, doesn't even get them back to even.
Well, just, again, it all depends on what you trade Giannis for. That's what it's for. Like, what do you trade him for? Who do you work with? How do you work that deal if you do it? And this is one where there's a, you would never trade the rights to Cooper
Flag,
but would you trade the rights to Cooper Flag for Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Sure.
No, that's a real question.
I know. Trust me, I've thought about it over the last couple of days. And if I'm the team picking number one, I probably don't.
It's a great question. Jay Stu, again, I know you're not a basketball evaluator, right? What would you do, though? You have a guy who appears to be let's just, at floor, the next great white star. Ceiling is potentially a superstar, but he's only 18 years old. He's only played 1 year in college, and you're heaping a lot on his shoulders. Or Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, I think I want Giannis. I saw Carlos Boozer say, I think it was this morning, that the Lakers need to get Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, you just throw out the Lakers. Yeah, let's just get the Lakers. Like, well, you have to give something up in a trade in order to get him.
Here's also something about Giannis, and I think that we put a lot of this on Damian Lillard's shoulders because he's the new guy.
Yeah.
But how easy is it to play with him? It seems really difficult to have a number two against him or number two with him. Excuse me. As we ranked these players and we looked at these players, Drew Holiday was probably the number two, but he was the number two because of his defense in what he did. Offensively, I'm not sure how easy it is to play alongside Giannis. So if you're bringing Giannis in, I think there's going to be some questions on how your offense operates because he's just so unique. And if you're a bad team at the top of the draft, like Washington or Utah or whoever, if to take your hypothetical question, what does Giannis get you if you make that trade, right? To what, 35 wins, 40 wins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take Cooper Flagg. Plus, Giannis has got injury, history.
Yeah, yeah.
So
he's not a particularly good shooter. He's hard to play with, and I don't think he's downside of his career, but his career's probably peaked.
I think it's such a lesson for we can't fault Toronto. Like Kawhi went there, was traded there. We knew he was probably going to leave. They're still trying to recoup and rehash it. Cleveland's done an amazing job post LeBron, but I think that they were both ready for LeBron to leave when he left. Oklahoma City is obviously the standard of how you run things, and I would say that the Bucks just were the exact opposite. We'll see how they operate now, but it's not easy if you're the Bucks and you're giving up to bounce back. I think is evidenced by Toronto, but Toronto wasn't nearly in the spot that Milwaukee finds themselves in, behind, extremely behind the eight ball.
Yeah, I just think, there's like two types of NBA championship teams. There's the one-hit wonder, and there's the sustainable sort of model. And Milwaukee felt a little bit more sustainable than others, but it turns out it's very Toronto-like, right? Feels like it's very Toronto-like, and look at Toronto now, and how they're trying to recapture any of that magic, and they've been unable to do so. The whole thing is fascinating because there is no one way. But I thought you brought up probably the best point you brought up, Dan, is that there was a uniqueness to how they were built, and then a kind of traditional way in which they tried to sustain it, and that didn't work.
Doug, remember they had Jabari Parker as their second overall pick. And that was supposed to be the face of the franchise, right?
Yep.
That doesn't work out in the Wiggins, Parker, Embiid draft.
Nope.
So that didn't even work out for them, and they still were able to formulate a team and put it together like they did. It's crazy.
Stuck